Milo sat in the pilot's seat, his hands shaking. The alarm lights blinked red around him. His small shuttle had just fallen from space. Smoke filled the air. The control panel sparked. The glass of the front window was cracked. Outside, he saw a thick white storm. The sky of Frost Star 7 was not welcoming. The crash had happened fast. 1 second. Everything was fine. The next, a solar flare hit their system. His escort team was split. His ship lost control. He tried to steer, but the storm pulled him down. Now he was stuck alone on a frozen planet. The temperature was dropping quickly. Milo grabbed the last thermal blanket and wrapped it around his body. He checked the comms system. Still no signal. The emergency beacon blinked weakly. He pressed the send button. A short sound buzzed. He just hoped someone would hear it. He pulled out a small heat pack from the supply box and cracked it open. It gave a bit of warmth. Not enough. He placed it on his chest and leaned back. His breath made small clouds in the cold air. The inside of the shuttle was turning into ice. Milo had trained for situations like this. But training and real life were very different. He tried to stay calm. He counted supplies. 3 food bars, 1 small water bottle, 2 heat packs, a broken scanner, a damaged helmet, and 1 toolkit. Not enough to last long. He looked outside again. The wind was strong. Snow blew across the cracked glass like angry spirits. He knew he couldn't leave the shuttle yet. The cold would freeze him in minutes. He had to wait. Maybe help would come tomorrow. Maybe not. His eyes felt heavy. He hadn't slept since the crash. But sleeping cold like this could be dangerous. He slapped his face lightly to stay awake. He rubbed his arms and legs to keep the blood moving. He spoke to himself to break the silence. Come on, Milo. Just hold on. Someone will find you. But no answer came. Only the howling wind. Suddenly, a shadow moved outside. Milo jumped. Was it a rescue drone? A wild animal? He leaned forward, squinting through the foggy glass. The shadow moved again. Then it came closer. Milo's heart beat faster. He reached for his emergency knife. The shuttle door was still jammed. Whatever was outside, he couldn't let it break in. A loud knock hit the metal door. Then another. Then silence. Milo held his breath. Then a voice came. It was deep and strange, but clear. Open the door. Human, I know you're in there. Milo blinked. That voice did not sound friendly. He crawled toward the door and pressed a button to speak. Who are you? He asked. The voice replied. No time. Your heat signal is dropping. You will freeze. Let me in. Milo hesitated. Then he looked at the ice creeping across the floor. He needed help. Even if it came from someone strange. He pressed the unlock code. The door opened halfway with a hiss. A tall figure stepped inside. Silver skin, long limbs, dark armor covered in frost. A helmet covered the face. Milo gasped. It was a Carathan alien warrior. His people had fought against the Carath years ago in a cold war on Mars. Milo had never seen one up close. The alien took off the helmet. A female face stared back at him. Sharp eyes, small scales across her cheeks. Cold steam rose from her breath. She looked at him with a mix of anger and confusion. You are alone? She asked. Yes, Milo answered. She looked around the shuttle and scoffed. This place is falling apart. You won't survive the night here. Milo raised his chin. I'm managing fine. She shook her head. You humans still lie to yourselves. Get your things. You're coming with me. Milo frowned. Why should I trust you? The Carath soldier stepped closer. Because I don't want your death to attract scavengers. And because I don't want to dig a hole in the snow to throw your frozen body. Now move. Milo didn't like her tone. But she was right. The cold was already biting through his blanket. He grabbed his toolkit and supplies, then followed her into the storm. They walked through the snow for nearly 15 minutes. The wind cut at his skin like knives. His boots were soaked, his face burned from the frost. But the alien walked like she was made of stone. She didn't slow down. Finally, they reached a rocky hill. A cave entrance opened under a ridge. The alien stepped inside and motioned him to follow. Warm air brushed against his face. It was like entering a different world. Inside was a small crash pod, half buried in snow. It was cracked but working. Lights flickered. A weak heater hummed. She had food packs, water tanks, and a survival bed. Milo sat near the heat source and let out a long breath. "Thanks," he said. The alien looked at him, still serious. "My name is Rika. Don't think this means we're friends. You stay out of my way. I stay out of yours." Milo nodded. "Fine by me. Name's Milo." Rika gave him one of her food packs. It tasted like glue, but it was warm. She lay down on her side of the cave, facing away from him. Milo sat near the heat pod and leaned against the cold metal wall. As he closed his eyes, he whispered, At least I'm not alone anymore." The wind howled outside, but inside the cave, it was quiet for now. They had a truce, but neither of them knew how long it would last. Morning came slow on Frost Star 7. The storm outside had not stopped. The wind still howled. Snow still fell like sharp dust, but inside the ice cave, the weak heater gave just enough warmth to survive. Milo opened his eyes and sat up, his back hurt from sleeping on the cold floor. He looked around. Rika was already awake. She stood near her pod, checking her gear. She moved like a soldier, fast and quiet. Her silver skin reflected the cave light. He stretched and rubbed his arms. "Morning," he said, trying to sound calm. Rika didn't look at him. "This is not morning. This planet does not spin like Earth. No sunrise, just storm and ice." Milo blinked. "All right, good night morning then." Still, she said nothing. He stood and walked toward the heater, holding his hands close to it. His fingers were stiff and red. The heat felt weak but better than nothing. "Any signal from your ship?" he asked. "No," Rika replied. "My comms were damaged in the crash. Your beacon is the only hope." Milo nodded. "I sent a signal yesterday. Maybe it reached someone." Rika turned to him now. "Maybe, or maybe it failed. You should check it." Milo opened his pack and pulled out the beacon. The light was blinking, slow and steady. That meant it was still active, but no reply had come yet. He sighed. "They'll come," he said. "They always send search teams." "Not always," Rika said, "and not fast. No one flies through this storm unless they must. We might be here for days." Milo didn't like the sound of that. Days in this frozen place with a grumpy alien soldier. Not his idea of fun. He picked up a ration bar and began to chew. It tasted like cardboard. He forced himself to finish it. Rika sat down near the wall, sharpening a small blade with a stone. "You fought in the Mars Water War," she said suddenly. Milo looked up, surprised. "Yes," he replied. "Engineering team. I repaired defense walls." "I was on the other side," Rika said. "Front line. We saw your machines, big, loud, and slow, but strong." Milo smiled a little. "We saw your fighters, fast, sharp, and angry." Rika's eyes narrowed, but she didn't speak again. The silence returned after a few minutes. Milo stood and stretched his arms. "I'll check the cave entrance. Maybe the storm is slowing." Rika did not stop him. He walked to the edge of the cave and pushed aside a thick curtain made from her broken parachute. The outside was still a white blur. Snow blew in every direction. He stepped out carefully. The cold hit him like a wall. His boots sank into deep snow. He looked up. No sky, only clouds. He looked around. Nothing but white hills and ice spikes. But then a shape caught his eye, not far from the cave. A black piece of metal stuck out from the snow. It looked like a drone wing. He turned and called back into the cave. "Hey, I think something crashed out there. Could be a drone." Rika joined him. She stepped outside without fear. Her armor protected her better than Milo's flight suit. She stared at the metal. "That's not one of ours," she said. "It's a small, maybe a scout bot." Milo moved forward. He dug through the snow with his hands. After a few minutes, he uncovered a round metal eye, a scout drone for sure. Broken, but still whole. He pulled it out and carried it back inside. Rika helped him clean it. They removed the ice and opened the back panel. Milo checked the wires. Still, Some power. If I can connect my beacon, it might boost the signal. Rika watched as he worked. Her hands helped steady the broken frame. You're good with tools, she said. Milo gave a small smile. I fix things. That's what I do. They worked together for an hour. Finally, Milo linked the drone's antenna to the beacon. The blinking light turned brighter. A short beat played. It's working, Milo said. The range just doubled. Rika nodded once. Good. For a moment, they both just sat there, quiet, but not uncomfortable. Then the heater made a sputtering sound. Milo turned fast. What was that? Rika moved to the pod and opened a panel. Fuel is low. Very low. The backup tank froze. This heat won't last long. Milo's heart dropped. How long do we have? Rika checked her scanner. Maybe one more night. After that, it gets dangerous. Milo stood still, thinking hard. What do we do then? We survive, Rika said, cold and flat. He looked at her. You don't like humans much, do you? Rika met his eyes. You fought my people. You called us invaders. You took planets we needed. Milo didn't reply right away. Then he said, I never wanted war. I just wanted to build things. I didn't choose the fight. Rika paused, then nodded once. Same. They both looked at the heater again. The weak flame flickered inside. Rika stood and walked to her bed. Savior. Energy. We may need it. Milo sat near the wall, watching the flame. He wondered if anyone would come. He wondered if he could survive without heat. He wondered why Kareth soldier was starting to feel less like an enemy and more like a person. The cold made his eyelids heavy. Just before sleep took him, he heard Rika's voice again. If the heater dies, we will share body heat. It is the only way. Milo's eyes opened wide, but he said nothing. He just stared at the flame and waited for tomorrow. The flame inside the heater died slowly. It gave a last soft pop, and then the light went out. The cold moved in like a silent enemy. The walls of the ice cave turned darker. Frost began to form on the metal pieces, and the floor. Milo woke up, shivering. His blanket was thin, and his flight suit no longer kept the warmth inside. His hands were stiff, and his breath came out in white clouds across the cave. Rika stood near the broken heater. Her armor gave her some protection, but even she looked affected. Her arms were folded tight, and her breath came slower than before. It's dead, she said. Milo nodded without speaking. They sat in silence for a while. Outside, the storm was still going. Wind screamed across the rocks and snow. There was no sun, no change in light, just endless white and cold. Rika walked to her pod and pulled out a thick blanket made from thermal cloth. She spread it on her side of the cave. We need to stay alive, she said, looking directly at Milo. He gave a small nod. Yeah, I know. She pointed to the spot beside her. Come here, share heat. You won't last the night alone. Milo hesitated. He looked at her serious face, then at the frozen floor around him. His fingers could barely move now. He stood up slowly and walked to her side. Rika lay down on one side of the blanket and pulled the other half over herself. Milo lay down beside her, careful to leave a bit of space. That won't work, she said. You must be close. He turned and faced her. She reached out and pulled him closer. Their shoulders touched, their arms pressed together. Her body was warm, warmer than he had expected. Not hot, but steady, like a heated stone. Milo felt the warmth begin to return to his fingers. His breath slowed. The tight pain in his chest eased. Better? She asked. Yes, he said. Thank you. She closed her eyes. This is survival, not comfort. I understand. They stayed like that for a while, breathing together. The sound of the storm faded in the background. The ice walls creaked. Sometimes, but the blanket trapped their heat. Milo looked at her face. Her eyes were closed. Her features were calm. Her skin had a soft silver glow under the low light for the first time. She didn't look like a soldier. She looked like someone. At peace, Rika, he said softly. She opened one eye. What is it? I thought you hated humans. I did, she said. Not you. But you're kind. Do you still? She thought for a moment. No, she said. Not after this, Milo nodded. He didn't know what to say next. His mind felt tired, but his heart felt something new. Not fear, not cold, something warmer. I'm glad we crashed together, he said after a pause. You're strange, she replied. He smiled. I get that a lot. She looked at him. Her eyes held something different. Now, not anger, not cold, just quiet understanding. You care too much, she said. That's how humans survive, he answered. She didn't argue. She just rested her head on his shoulder. Her breathing slowed again. Milo felt her weight beside him. Not heavy, not light, just real. Time passed, maybe hours, maybe more. They didn't speak again. They just stayed close, sharing warmth, sharing silence. Then a sound broke through the cave. A soft beeping noise. Milo opened his eyes. He sat up fast and reached for the signal device. The light was flashing fast now. That meant connection. Someone found the signal, he said. Rika sat up beside him. Check it. He opened the small screen. A message appeared. Rescue ship. Approaching. Rivaling for ours. He turned the screen so she could see it. A small smile appeared on her lips. Just for a second. We live, she said. Milo laughed a little. His breath made small clouds again. But now it didn't feel like death. They stood up and packed their things. The cave was still cold, but it didn't feel as lonely anymore. Rika checked her armor and weapons. I'll scan the area. We don't want surprise visitors. All right, Milo said. I'll stay here and monitor the signal. She nodded and walked toward the cave entrance. Milo sat down near the broken heater. His fingers were warmer now. His heart felt light. He looked at the blanket where they had slept. To enemies, now allies. To strangers, now something more. He didn't know what name to give it. Maybe friendship, maybe trust. Whatever it was, it had kept them alive. And maybe, just maybe, it would last beyond this frozen place. The signal light kept blinking. Milo stared at it, waiting for the rescue ship. His hands were warmer now, but the cold air still slipped into the cave from time to time. He pulled the blanket tight around himself. Rika had gone outside to scan the area. She was fast and sharp, even after a night in the cold. Milo trusted her now. She moved like someone who had seen many battles. But now, she moved not just for herself. She moved for both of them. After some time, Rika returned. Her armor was covered in snow. I saw something, she said, voice firm. Milo stood quickly. What was it? Tracks, she said. Not ours. Something else was moving near the cave. Milo felt his chest tighten. Could it be a wild animal? Maybe, she said. But the pattern is not natural. The steps were slow, careful, as if someone was watching. He looked toward the cave opening. The wind was blowing hard again. Snow rushed across the rocks outside. It was hard to see anything. Rika walked to the edge of the cave and stared into the storm. They didn't enter, she said. But they were closed. Milo checked the signal screen again. The ship will arrive in less than 3 hours. Then we wait, Rika said. But stay ready. Milo reached into his bag and pulled out a small stun pistol. It had 1 battery left. Not much, but it was better than nothing. Rika checked her blade and adjusted her shoulder armor. They sat close again, but this time not to stay warm. This time, they were watching the shadows. Every sound made them turn. The ice cracked sometimes. The wind moaned through the rocks. Once, they both thought they heard footsteps. But when they checked, nothing was there. Milo looked at Rika. Have you ever seen anything like this before? She shook her head. No. This world was supposed to be empty. Cold, yes. Dangerous, yes. But not hunted. He stared at the signal light again, still blinking. We just need to hold on a bit longer, he said. Rika nodded. Suddenly, the light blinked faster. A new message appeared on the screen. Rescue ship entering atmosphere. Signal locked. Prepare for pickup. Milo smiled with relief. They're close. Rika stood and walked toward the cave entrance again. She looked into the white sky. Then she stopped. What is that? she said. Milo ran to her side. Far in the distance, a dark shape moved through the snow. It was tall and thin. Not a machine, not a human. It walked slowly, 1 foot at a time. Another shape followed, and another. Milo counted 5. They were heading toward the cave. "Do they see us?" he asked. "I think so," Rika said. Her voice was calm, but low. She stepped back into the cave and raised her blade. "Get ready." Milo held the stun pistol tight in his hand. The shapes came closer. Now he could see them better. They were covered in thick fur. Their faces were long, with black eyes. Their arms were long, with claws at the ends. They did not run. They marched. Slow and steady, Rika took a step forward. Her stance was strong. "Don't move," she said to Milo. "Let them come. Watch their leader." The front creature raised its head and made a sound. It was not loud, more like a hum mixed with a growl. The other four stopped behind it. Rika did not move. Milo whispered, "Should I shoot?" "No," she said. "Not yet." The lead creature took 1 step forward. Then it pointed toward the sky. Milo looked up. The clouds were moving fast. A silver dot was breaking through them. The rescue ship. The creature pointed again. Then it placed its clawed hand on its chest. Slowly, calmly, Milo looked at Rika. "What does that mean?" She narrowed her eyes. "It's not an attack move. It looks like a symbol." Milo stepped beside her. He copied the move. He placed his hand on his own chest. The creature lowered its arm. Then it turned and began to walk away. The others followed it, one by one. They vanished into the snow. Milo stood still, heart beating fast. "Did we just talk?" he asked out. Ika kept watching the snow. Maybe, maybe not, but they chose not to fight. The sound of engines filled the air. The rescue ship broke through the clouds and came low over the rocks. It hovered just above the cave, then slowly lowered to the ground. The back door opened with a hiss. 2 humans stepped out in warm suits. One waved. "Milo Davis," the man shouted. Milo stepped forward and raised his hand. "That's me." The man looked at Rika, then back at Milo. "Didn't expect the survivors. You both all right? We're now." Milo said. The rescue team helped them inside the warm ship. Rika sat down near the window. Still quiet. As the ship lifted off, Milo looked back through the window. The snow-covered world began to shrink behind them. The cave, the storm, the silent watchers all faded below. He sat beside Rika. She looked at him and said, "We lived together." Milo smiled. "Yeah, we did." Then he looked forward, toward the stars, not knowing what came next, but ready to face it. The snow was falling harder now. Thick clouds covered the mountain. The clan moved carefully between huts, checking for danger after the fire. Rima stayed alert. She knew someone wanted to silence the truth. Tomo worked inside the main hall, helping the elders study the old symbols he copied from the chamber. He used his scanner to translate words that had not been read in centuries. "This line says Mira stayed to protect something," Tomo said. "But it does not say what." The chief leaned closer. "Protect what? A weapon?" Tomo shook his head. "No, a seed. A new beginning." Outside, Rima trained with young warriors. She taught them the human techniques she had learned from watching Tomo. Quick steps, light movement, smart thinking. They listened closely. For the first time, they respected not just her strength, but also her mind. But danger was close. In the forest below the mountain, Vero stood with the masked strangers. Their leader was tall, with dark armor and glowing red eyes. His voice was rough like stone. "We were promised control," the leader said. "You failed to stop them." Vero lowered his head. "I did not expect the human to earn trust so quickly." "No. More talking," the leader growled. "We strike tonight." The sky turned black as night came. Wind howled through the trees. Inside the village, most people rested. Rima sat by the fire, thinking. Tomo joined her with the warm cups. "You're not sleeping either?" he asked. "I feel the wind is warning me," Rima said. Tomo nodded. "I feel it too." Suddenly, a sharp whistle cut through the night. Then a loud boom. A wall of fire rose near the food storage hut. Screams filled the air. Rima stood fast. "We are under attack." Masked warriors ran into the village, weapons glowing. They moved quickly, striking tents and pushing aside guards. They used strange tools, not from this world. Rima grabbed her spear and shouted, "Two arms. Protect the children. Stand your ground." Tomo rushed into the hall and helped the elders escape. He grabbed a small shock stick from his bag and ran back outside. A masked attacker lunged at him. Tomo rolled under the strike and zapped the enemy in the leg. The attacker fell, shaking. Rima fought to at once. Her spear moved like wind. One attacker lost his weapon. The other stepped back in fear. Rima chased them away. But more kept coming. The chief appeared with his sword drawn. "Hold the line. Do not let them pass." Tomo joined Rima's side. "They're not just here to burn the village. They're after the chamber." Rima's eyes went wide. The truth. They ran toward the mountain path, but 3 masked enemies blocked the way. One of them was Vero. He removed his mask. "You should have stayed silent." "Rima, you betrayed your own people," she said. "I protected the old way," Vero shouted. "We don't need humans. We don't need change. You fear the truth," Tomo said. Vero raised his blade. "Then I'll bury it with you." He attacked. Rima blocked his strike. The two fought fiercely. Vero was strong, but Rima had trained harder. She dodged his heavy blows and struck. Fast, her spear cut his arm. Vero stumbled back. "You are still just a girl. I am the future," Rima said. With one final spin, she knocked the sword from his hands and pointed the spear at his chest. "Surrender." Vero looked up, breathing hard. He dropped to his knees. The other 2 attackers ran. Seeing Vero fall, Tomo looked down the path. "More will come. We have to protect the chamber." The chief and his warriors arrived. The masked group had been pushed back. Fires were out. The village was safe for now. But the threat was not gone. "We found this on one of the attackers," a warrior said, handing Tomo a small device. Tomo scanned it. "It holds coordinates. They come from a base off-world. A group that wants to keep planets weak. They want to stop peace." Rima said. Tomo nodded. "Yes, they fear any alliance between your people and Earth." The chief stepped forward. "Then they will try again." Rima looked at Tomo. "We must finish what we started." "Yes," he said. "It's time to unlock the last part of the chamber." At dawn, Rima, Tomo, and 3 warriors entered the hidden place once more. The power was still working. Lights glowed. The air felt warmer now, as if the machines knew someone had returned. Tomo placed the stolen device into a panel. A door they had not seen before opened with a hiss. Inside was a small room. In the center was a crystal, floating in the air, round. It were symbols glowing softly. Rima stepped forward. "What is this?" Tomo scanned it. "This is the seed mirror protected." "Is it a weapon?" One warrior asked. "No," Tomo said. "It's a code, a message, a plan for future peace. A way to help worlds heal, not destroy." Rima stared at the glowing crystal. "Then this is why they fear us. Not because we are strong in battle, but because we can bring change." Tomo smiled. "You understand." They took the crystal and returned to the village. The clan gathered once more. Rima stood before them. "Enemies tried to stop us, but they failed. The truth is returned. We carry it together." The people raised their voices in unity. The path ahead would not be easy. But Rima was no longer just a warrior. She was a protector of knowledge, a leader of her people, and the first of a new chapter between worlds. The morning sun peeked over the mountain peaks. Rima stood at the edge of the village, looking toward the distant horizon. The air was cold and crisp. The weight of the crystal in her hand reminded her of the task ahead. Tomo came beside her. "The device shows the enemy base is across the plains, beyond the dark forest." Rima nodded. "We cannot wait. If they gather more forces, the mountain will fall." The chief gathered the strongest warriors and gave them weapons forged from mountain steel. "This is a battle for our future," he said. "May the spirits guide you." Rima tightened her grip on her spear. "We will protect our home." The group started their journey. The path led down rocky cliffs and into thick forests. The trees grew tall and close, their leaves blocking sunlight. Strange sounds echoed from unseen creatures. Tomo scanned ahead. The base is near. Be ready. Suddenly, the ground shook. From the shadows, enemy scouts appeared. Their armor gleamed with strange lights. The warriors moved fast, attacking. With silent strikes, Rima raised her spear and shouted, "Defend the group." The warriors formed a circle. Spears and swords clashed with laser blades. Tomo used a small blaster, firing careful shots that forced enemies back. Rima dodged an attack and struck an enemy's arm. The warrior fell, surprised by her strength and skill. The fight lasted minutes, but felt like hours. When the last scout ran away, the group stood breathing hard, covered in dust and scratches. "We must move faster," Tomo said. "More will come." They walked until the forest opened to wide fields. The enemy base was a dark fortress made of black metal. It rose tall like a shadow against the bright sky. Rima looked at the walls. They hide behind steel and fear. The warriors crept closer. Tomo used his device to hack the gates. The metal door hissed and slid open. Inside, the base was cold and empty. Lights flickered. Machines hummed quietly. The sound of footsteps echoed in distant halls. They moved carefully, searching for the leader. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. The base shook with heavy boots running toward them from the shadows. Vero appeared, holding a strange weapon. His eyes burned with anger. "You come to die," he said. Rima stepped forward. "I come to end your lies." The fight began. Vero fired the weapon. A beam of light hit the ground near Rima, exploding in sparks. Rima dodged and threw her spear. It struck Vero's chest, but his armor held strong. Tomo and the warriors fought the guards who poured from rooms and halls. Blades met laser fire. The air filled with noise and smoke. Vero charged at Rima again. This time, he was faster. He swung a heavy blade. Rima blocked with her spear and spun away. "I will not lose to you," she said. Vero laughed. "You are only a child playing at war." Rima's eyes flashed. "I am the future." She struck again and again, forcing Vero back. Tomo found a control panel and pressed buttons. The base lights dimmed, and the machines powered down. The enemy guards hesitated. Rima seized the moment. She ran forward and grabbed Vero's weapon. She crushed it with her hands. Vero fell to his knees, defeated. Rima held her spear to his throat. "Your fight is over." Vero looked up, breathing hard. "You have won, but others will come." Rima said nothing. She turned to the warriors. "Secure the base. We must protect this place." Back in the main hall, Tomo connected the crystal to a large machine. It glowed brightly and projected images into the air. The vision showed the history of the mountain, how Mira had stayed to help the clans grow strong, how humans and the mountain people had once worked together. The crystal contained a message. It was a plan for peace between many worlds. Rima smiled. "This is the gift of our ancestors." The chief nodded. "Now, we must share it with the world." Tomo looked at Rima. "You were right. Humans and your people are stronger together." Rima placed the crystal in the sacred hall. "We will protect this truth." The village celebrated their victory. The clans joined as one. The mountain was no longer a place of fear, but a symbol of hope. Rima and Tomo stood side by side, ready for the new future. The morning sun bathed the mountain village in golden light. Birds sang softly, and the air was fresh with the scent of pine and earth. Rima stood on the highest hill, looking out over the valley below. The village was alive with laughter and work. People repaired homes, planted crops, and prepared for the festival of unity. Tamel joined her, carrying a small wooden box. Inside was the crystal, glowing faintly with the promise of hope. The council agreed to share the story with all clans. Tomo said, "They want to rebuild trust." Rima smiled. "It is a new day for our people." The festival began with music. Drums beat strong rhythms, and voices rose in song. Children danced in colorful clothes. Elders told stories of the past and dreams of the future. The crystal sat on a carved stone altar in the center. its light brightening the gathering. Rima spoke to the crowd. We once lived divided by fear. We forgot the true bond between us. But now, with the truth, we find strength. A young warrior stepped forward. We want to join with other clans to protect the mountain and our freedom. The chief nodded. It is time to build peace and protect what we love. Tomel showed the plan stored in the crystal. Cities would share knowledge. Warriors would train together. Children would learn the stories of humans and mountain people alike. Suddenly, a scout arrived, breathless. Strange ships approached from the east. They fly low and fast. Rima's eyes narrowed. More danger? Tomel checked his device. These ships are unknown to us. They come with speed and power. The villagers prepared for defense. Warriors took their places on the walls. Rima gathered her spear and shield. Tomel activated his blaster and sensors. The ships landed in the valley's open space. Machines rolled out. Tall figures in shining armor stepped down. They looked different, not like any clan or human they knew. The leader raised a hand. We come with a message from the outer worlds. The time for hiding is over. Join us or be left behind. Rima stepped forward boldly. Who are you? Why do you threaten our home? The leader smiled coldly. We are the guardians of the galactic order. We watch all planets and decide who may live in peace. Tomel spoke calmly. Your threat will not break our new bond. We choose freedom and truth. The leader laughed. Freedom is chaos. You will bow or be crushed. Rima raised her spear. We will stand for our home. The villagers cheered. Warriors moved to their places, ready to defend. But Tomel raised his hand. Wait, we did not have to fight first. He stepped forward, with the crystal glowing in his hands. This crystal holds the truth of our past. It shows the strength of unity between different peoples. We ask you to see it before you judge us. The leader paused. His face showed doubt. Rima placed the crystal on the ground. The light rose, filling the valley with images of peace, courage, and hope. The leader looked at the scenes. The faces of humans and mountain people, fighting and healing together. Slowly, his armor lowered. His voice was quieter. Perhaps there is more to your story than I thought. The guardians gathered and discussed quietly. Finally, the leader spoke again. We will give you a chance. Prove your unity by joining the galactic order. Show that your bond is strong. Rima smiled. We accept, but we will never lose who we are. Tomel nodded. Together, we will face the future. The ships lifted off. The valley was calm again. The villagers cheered and embraced. Rima looked at the sky. A new dawn has come. Our story is not just for us, but for many worlds. Tomel placed his hand on her shoulder. And this is only the beginning. Together, they turned to the village, ready to build a future of peace, truth, and strength.